Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into a truly profound philosophy that completely flips our traditional understanding of success and risk totally on its head. We'll be looking at a powerful motivational framework, originally delivered by Denzel Washington, which essentially demands that we reframe our entire relationship with failure. I mean, think about it. Instead of avoiding failure at all costs, what if we leaned right into it? What if the actual key to unlocking your true potential isn't about playing it safe, but rather about learning how to fall forward? Let's kick things off and immediately ground ourselves with these incredibly powerful words from Nelson Mandela. He said, "There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living." This brilliantly sets up the core argument of our entire session today. You simply cannot find genuine passion or true fulfillment if you willingly accept a life that is smaller than what you're actually capable of. It really challenges that comfortable, safe little bubble we all tend to gravitate towards and demands that we expect more from ourselves.
So let's jump right into our first major theme, dismantling the fallback myth.
You know how society is constantly telling you to make sure you have something to fall back on, get a safe degree, keep a safe job, just in case? Well, this framework challenges that entire concept. Having something to fall back on implies you're already planning for retreat. It means you're landing blindly, falling backwards. Instead, the philosophy here argues that if you're going to fall, and let's be real, you absolutely will, you should fall forward. Why? Because at the very least, if you fall forward, you can see exactly what you're going to hit. You learn from the impact. You keep your eyes focused right on the direction you're actually trying to go. Which leads us perfectly into our next big idea, embracing inevitable failure. Check out this massive number, 2,600. That is the exact number of times the legendary baseball player Reggie Jackson struck out in his career. It is literally the most strikeouts in the entire history of baseball. But here is the fascinating takeaway for us. You don't hear people talking about his strikeouts, do you? No, people only remember the home runs. He had to fail 2,600 times to build the incredible legacy he has today. And we see the exact same pattern with Thomas Edison. He conducted 1,000 failed experiments. 1,000? Actually, most people would probably give up after 10. But he kept going because the 1,001st experiment was the one that finally produced the light bulb. This proves a vital point. Every single failed experiment, every rejection, every strikeout you face is just one step closer to ultimate success. You have to endure the thousands to get to the one. You can see this exact same logic in the famous 9-dot IQ test. You've probably seen this before. You have 9 dots arranged in a square, and the goal is to draw 5 continuous lines through all of them without ever lifting your pencil. The catch? It is mathematically impossible to solve if you keep your lines inside the perimeter of the dots. The only way to succeed is to literally draw your lines outside the boundaries of the box. Success requires breaking boundaries and risking looking foolish in that uncharted territory outside the conventional lines. And that brings us to this brilliant quote, which perfectly illustrates the central thesis of risk. To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did. You just have to embrace the fact that you will fail at some point. You're going to lose, you will embarrass yourself, and honestly, you will flat out suck at something. But if you don't fail, you're not even trying. You have to push past that fear of embarrassment if you want to reach new heights. Moving right along to section 3, let's talk about the totally unpredictable life path. Progress is rarely a straight line. Let's look at Denzel Washington's actual journey. Before the fame, the Oscars, the accolades, his journey began at Fordham University, and it was anything but glamorous. He actually started out as a pre-med student, but he completely failed a course called cardiac morphogenesis. He couldn't read it, couldn't say it, and definitely couldn't pass it. So he bounced over to pre-law. Then he switched to journalism. With absolutely no academic focus, his grades plummeted to a dismal 1.8 GPA. By the time he was 20 years old, the university politely suggested he take some time off. He was at his absolute lowest point, completely devoid of direction. But sometimes our lowest points are exactly where we find our ultimate direction. Get this, on March 27, 1975, he was helping his mother at her beauty shop in Mount Vernon. An older woman, who was considered an elder in the town, was sitting under a hairdryer. She just kept staring at him through the mirror. Finally, she took the dryer off her head and delivered a prophecy. She told this struggling, directionless 20-year-old dropout that he was going to travel the world and speak to millions of people. And as we all know, he did exactly that. He traveled the world and reached millions through his movies. But even after finding acting, the path was still filled with failure. Early in his career, he auditioned for a Broadway musical at the Court Theater. It was the perfect role for him, except for one tiny little detail. He couldn't sing. He failed the audition spectacularly. But he didn't quit. He didn't fall back. He just prepared for the next audition. And incredibly, 30 years later, he returned to Broadway to star in the wildly successful play Fences, acting on the stage of that exact same Court Theater where he had failed decades prior. This entire arc perfectly highlights the sheer power of consistency. I love this old saying, if you hang around the barbershop long enough, sooner or later, you're gonna get a haircut. It's so true. If you stay in the game, if you keep showing up, keep failing forward, and absolutely refuse to retreat to a safety net, eventually you are going to catch a break. All right, let's shift gears into section 4, because this is where things get a little heavy but absolutely crucial. The ghosts of unfulfilled potential.
I want you to do a quick thought experiment with me right now. Just put everything else aside for a second. Imagine yourself at the very end of your life, lying on your deathbed. And as you are lying there, imagine that there are ghosts surrounding your bed. But these aren't the spooky, haunted house kind of ghosts. These figures standing around your bed represent your unfulfilled potential. They are the ghosts of the incredible ideas that you never acted on because you were just too scared. They're the ghosts of the specific, brilliant talents you were given, but completely ignored. And as they stand around your bed, they aren't comforting you. They're looking at you, and they are angry, disappointed, and terribly upset. They look right down at you and deliver this devastating message. We came to you because you could have brought us to life. And now we have to go to the grave together. Wow. Just let the weight of that sink in. Those unfulfilled dreams die with you. That realization drastically raises the stakes for every single choice you make today. It's a powerful reminder that playing it safe comes with an incredibly high hidden cost. So how do we avoid that fate? Let's get into our final section, sharing your unique gift with a world that desperately needs it. Look around. The reality is, the world is crying out for help right now. From the devastating poverty in places like South Africa, to the complex struggles in the Middle East and Japan, right down to the domestic challenges in our very own backyards, in Alabama, Tennessee, Louisiana, and Philadelphia. The world is heavy, and it relies tremendously on the fresh energy, the innovation, and the courage of people who are willing to step up and help. And here's the beautiful part. It doesn't actually matter what your major is or what your bank account looks like, whether you're a business major, a theologian, a nurse, or sociologist. It's not about how much you have, it's about what you do with your unique gift. Your gift could be money or talent, sure, but it could also be your time, your endless patience, your kindness, your love, or even the gift of long suffering and endurance. Whatever it is, the world needs it. So if we want to actually pull this off and fall forward into a life of purpose, here is the game plan. First, you have to discover that unique gift. Next, set concrete goals. Because remember, dreams without goals are just dreams. They lead to nothing but disappointment. Third, remain incredibly open to the chances you take, the people you meet, and the faith you hold. And finally, give everything you have. Literally, hold absolutely nothing back. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, provocative question to carry with you long after today. When your time eventually comes, how many ghosts will be standing around your bed? And starting right now, today, what are you going to do with what you have? Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. And remember, whenever you stumble, make sure you fall forward.